Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Hilton Center of the Las Vegas Hilton Hotel, where tonight Don King Productions and Main Events Monitor Dan Duva President, in association with the Las Vegas Hilton, presents World Championship Boxing. This bout is sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Dr. James Nave, Chairman. The commissioners at ringside this evening are Dr. Elias Ghanem, Dwayne Ford, Jay Nady, and Luther Mack. The executive director of the Nevada State Athletic Commission is Chuck Minker. Representing the IBF at ringside this evening is Mr. Al Goodman, and representing the WBC at ringside is Mr. Bobby Lee of the state of Hawaii. The officials assigned by the governing bodies for the next bout of the evening, the judges will be Chuck Giampa, Jerry Roth, and Dave Moretti. The timekeeper will be Mike Morabito. Counting into the knockdowns, Al Bisick. The attending physicians at ringside, Doctors Flip Omansky, James Game, and Al Cabana. And your referee is Richard Steele. This is the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the unification of the WBC IBF 140-pound championship. Introducing in the red